Bermuda Broadcasting Company is pleased to present the 2018 FIFA World Cup from Russia, June 14th to July 15th. This will mark the 21st FIFA World Cup, featuring 32 national teams, covering 64 matches, played in 12 venues located in 11 cities. The final will be held July 15th in Moscow. Be a part of the history. You don't want to miss FIFA World Cup 2018.
Live from Bermuda Broadcasting, this is ZBM TV9 News.
Good evening, everyone. It's Monday, March the 12th, 2018. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us tonight. Volunteerism was meant to provide the backbone of the modern Royal Bermuda Regiment. But have things turned out as planned? We have contrasting views tonight on whether abolishing conscription could signal the demise of the regiment.
A death knell for the Royal Bermuda Regiment. That's how former commanding officers are describing the proposed abolition of conscripted national service.
Stand up!
The Nine Colonels Advocacy Group says it is unlikely sufficient volunteers could be attracted from Bermuda's small and shrinking population to enable the regiment to fulfill its responsibilities. In stark contrast, National Security Minister Wayne Keynes provided an upbeat assessment of the regiment's future prospects. He told the House of Assembly that the regiment continues to transition into a voluntary service and that, in his words, it will continue to receive strong support from the government. The Nine Colonels took an active role in the debate in 2014 and 2015 as government moved towards an all-volunteer force. The former COs are now speaking out again, saying that the regiment has struggled to make up the numbers in the last 3 recruitment cycles. Lieutenant Colonel Alan Rance, in a statement on behalf of the Nine Colonels, said, quote, "We supported the idea that Bermuda should try to keep up the regiment's numbers by recruiting volunteers. But we thought it would be a mistake to abolish conscription legislatively. We thought we should try volunteerism by simply changing to a recruitment policy while leaving a possible resort to conscription in our laws. If it didn't work, conscription would be there as a backup option. That seemed to us simple common sense." In their statement, the Nine Colonels say the regiment is currently under strength by roughly 80 troops. The regiment needs to recruit 120 men and women every year just to maintain its optimum strength. In 2015, the first year of the new policy, the regiment attracted 65. This year, the number has dropped to 40. Minister Keynes says the regiment intends to have another drive for recruits in July for a summer intake, but the Nine Colonels say it is unlikely that many more volunteers will come forth. Lieutenant Colonel Rance goes on to say that the PLP government's stated plan to abolish conscription legislation would be contrary to the recommendations made by the Independent National Security and Defence Review in 2014 and will lead to the ultimate demise and disappearance of the Royal Bermuda Regiment. In his budget speech yesterday, Minister Keynes said the regiment had been allocated $7.2 million and that an internal strategic review would lead to a 5-year plan. He underscored the vital domestic roles of the regiment, cited expanded maritime capabilities and new career opportunities, and noted how its durability and resilience was demonstrated last year by hurricane relief missions in Turks and Caicos. He also spoke of change and that 2018 would be a, quote, golden opportunity for the regiment to change how it recruits and retains soldiers.
A JetBlue flight traveling from the United States to Mexico was forced to make an emergency landing in Bermuda on Saturday. It was diverted amid fears that a fire had broken out in the hold, though a later inspection found no sign of a blaze. Hal Davis reports.
A frightening announcement no airline passenger wants to hear, that of a possible fire on board. But that's exactly what happened this weekend to a JetBlue flight. The plane was diverted to Bermuda due to possible smoke in the cargo hold. Bermuda Fire and Rescue Service personnel, as well as fire trucks, met the aircraft when it landed on Saturday evening. The plane was evacuated of all 207 passengers and crew, and firefighters checked for signs of a blaze. The Fire and Rescue Service confirmed to Bermuda Broadcasting there was no smoke or fire found on the plane. All passengers were flown out later on Saturday night via another JetBlue plane. The flight was making its way to New York from Punta Cana, Mexico. At least 4 planes have been diverted to LF Wade International Airport so far this year. In late February, an American Airlines flight made an emergency landing because of a possible fire in the cargo hold. 2 planes were diverted in January. An Air Transat flight on its way to Mexico and a military aircraft which had engine trouble. Howell Davis, Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Bermuda's only fiber-to-the-home network is here, thanks to Digicel. But what does this mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. This means you'll get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway. You can be one of the first to enjoy it. Call us on 505,000.
The whole concept came from the collaboration with BF&M and the America's Cup. The Endeavour program is the legacy of the 35th America's Cup that was here in Bermuda in June. And we've continued the charity now operating in Bermuda. And going forward, we thought, what a great opportunity for children on the autism spectrum. And hence we actually developed the No Limits program. They really do benefit from this kind of outdoor experience, this environment. You know, just yesterday going off the east end of Bermuda, I mean, they wouldn't have done that. Not many children in Bermuda have done that. And just them learning to take control of a large bit of transportation that they're doing at that age, and they may never get that opportunity.
That's where you see the biggest progress is whether they were looking at their hand steering, you know, it's now they're looking forwards and actually looking where they're going because they've realized, oh, I know where my hand is. I can do this without looking at my hand.
We are so grateful for the Endeavour program and what it has done for the students on the autism spectrum.
I got these for seasickness last week, and they're terrible.
That's strange.
I know. I put one behind each ear like you're supposed to, and nothing happened.
These are tablets. You're meant to take them with water.
I got this pump for my asthma. Hasn't changed anything.
Show me how you're using it. It's an inhaler. You're meant to breathe it in.
Well, this toothpaste, definitely off.
It's a hemorrhoid cream.
Well, that explains why my gums are shrinking.
Welcome back. Well, hundreds of homeowners endured a miserable Sunday evening after losing power. The lights went out in St. David's shortly after 7 p.m. last night. Velco says the likely cause was, quote, fatigue on the connections as a result of the most recent storm. Some 895 customers lost power, but it was restored for most people shortly before 11 last night. However, some St. David residents affected by a separate incident were still without power due to a blown fuse until around 10:30 this morning. On the major outage, Velco explained that in addition to repairing the conductor itself, restoration included reattaching wiring and replacing connections. Turning to weather news, more rain and possible gale and storm force winds for our Tuesday before some improvement later in the day. Here's the latest from AccuWeather headquarters.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
The BF&M Insurance Group is pleased to bring you this AccuWeather forecast. It's a pretty tumultuous one. Some of you have been hearing the thunder. It's been rumbling out there most of the afternoon. We've had some thunderstorms just to the south of the island that are going to become more likely into Bermuda as we move on through the evening hours. And you can see a pretty messy looking view. This is the third, we call it nor'easters in the United States, the third one of them in a 12-day stretch to impact places like Boston. And we are also being affected by it in Bermuda. So here we have some heavy showers, thunderstorms nearby as well. Really messy looking view here. This is the satellite's estimate of where the rain is falling. So we have a number of warnings and advisories. A thunderstorm advisory this evening through the night into Tuesday morning with this front moving in. It's a pretty strong one. Small craft warning through this evening. That'll get replaced by a gale warning tonight. That'll run through Tuesday afternoon, and then it will then be replaced by another small craft warning. So we do have lots of activity out there. Be careful, especially for the boaters. You can see that we do have current conditions running in the upper 60s, so it's not terribly cool right now, but it is windy. Winds from the west at 16 to 20 knots. Humidity extremely high. And on the outside, we have waves of 10 to 14 feet. Churning about. So tonight, periods of wind and rain and thunderstorms, 66 degrees, a pretty active night for us. We've seen better stretches from a weather standpoint. So again, a small craft warning will be replaced by a gale warning. High tide in the recent rearview mirror, another low tide coming up just after midnight, into another high tide early tomorrow morning, low tide into the early afternoon. Boating weather during all these points will not be good with this storm in the neighborhood. So morning showers, it'll be very breezy. We'll see gusts over 40 miles per hour tomorrow. Temperature still up around 70 for our high. Here you can see this storm system moving off of the North Carolina coast. Here we are, and it's a south wind, and that'll get replaced by a strong west wind as this storm wraps up. The front pushes through early tomorrow morning, and then we'll be left with another period of time with some nasty boating weather and a blustery west wind as that storm really cranks. So here we are with the Tuesday forecast details across the eastern portion of North America into western parts of Europe. So snow into Toronto and in New York. It'll be on the light side. However, we're expecting quite a bit of snow in Boston, 1 to 2 feet there. Atlanta cool after some near freezing weather in the morning, and Miami's running a little cool as well. London, that's a place to be, at least when it comes to the more landlocked areas where temperatures are not that bad, into the low 50s, around 10, 11 degrees Celsius. Here we are with the rest of the Caribbean to the south of our location. Again, as you step into the Caribbean, Jamaica looks great. Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago will have some scattered showers. So locally, stepping back out of the Caribbean, back up to the north into Bermuda, we're dealing with some widespread rain and a gusty breeze Tuesday morning, giving way to some off and on showers. Wednesday, still showery and cooler. Boating weather does not look good even into Friday and Saturday, but we will turn a bit drier and a little cooler out there. Back to you.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
Philadelphia International Medicine provides international patients with access to a unique network of world-renowned doctors and surgeons that provide personalized medical and surgical care, connecting you to the U.S.'s leading healthcare specialists who are ranked among the best in the world. Healing is possible when you're confident in your healthcare team. To find out more, contact us at physicians@philadelphiamedicine.com or call 1-215-563-4733.
All my life is changing every day, in every possible way. And then I open up and see the person falling here is me. 'Cause you're a dream to me.
Made with care, handled with care, delivered with care. That's what dreams are made of.
The Department of Youth, Sport, and Recreation presents Victorious, Today's Girls, Tomorrow's Future, a celebration of females in sports. Under the distinguished patronage of the Honorable Premier, E. David Burt JP MP, the 37th Annual Sports Awards celebration will be held on Saturday, March 17th at the Fairmont Southampton Resort's Mid-Ocean Amphitheater, starting at 7 p.m. Tickets are $15 and available at the Department of Youth, Sports, and Recreation, located on the 3rd floor of the Craig Appen House, number 8 Wesley Street, Hamilton. For more information, call 295-0855.
Jane just got diagnosed with dementia. Her doctor recommended home care service. Jane chose Bermuda in-home care, a full home care service with certified dementia care specialists available 24/7. Jane and her family was extremely happy when the caregiver showed up on time. The caregiver prepared her meals, reminded her to take medication, helped her with personal hygiene care, and solved puzzles with her. The family chooses Lighthouse Medical Supplies to set up all her durable medical equipments. Call Bermuda In-Home Care, 705-4424. Your one-stop shop for all your home care services and medical supplies. Taking the hassle out of healthcare, call now, 705-4424.
The mayor of Hamilton, Charles Gosling, is denying allegations by the Home Affairs Minister that he breached protocol by having talks with a foreign government. In the House of Assembly on Friday, Home Affairs Minister Walter Brown Jr. said the corporation invited the Taiwanese government to contact Bermuda's government about a tax information exchange agreement. Minister of Home Affairs Walter Brown Jr. announced his intention to table a new municipalities bill granting government more control over St. George and Hamilton. However, Mr. Gosling says the government's claims are wrong.
Director General Wang came to Bermuda a couple of years ago. I assume he was invited here by Rotary. I know that he spoke with the Commissioner of Police, who I believe is involved with government in some regards. He also had meetings with the Bermuda Tourism Authority, which I believe has some dealings with government. He also came across and visited with some of the council members at that time. I was off island when he came, but if he, I would have met with him at that time as a gesture of goodwill. He then later invited myself and any of our technical officers to go to Taiwan for a conference which was going on down there to do with smart cities. Anybody who knows anything at all about Taipei would know about how well run that particular city is. And while it would be a long way in terms of the future of where this city is today, it would certainly be good for giving us some guidance. The minister at that time, Minister Fay, gave us approval to go to that. There was later on an invitation for us to go to Miami, which this current minister invited us to. Didn't invite. He said that yes, we should accept the invitation and go down to Miami for this meeting. We received after that a letter from the Director General asking for this information to be passed on, that the government of Taiwan is interested in making these negotiations, and could I forward it to the Minister of Finance. It was forwarded to the Minister of Finance. That was the end of anything that we did to today. Till today. This has not been shared with anybody. This was a letter that this office received. It was asked to be passed on. It was passed on.
It was a day of earnings and deals. Tony Waterman has your business mashup.
Hurricanes Irma, Harvey, and Maria, as well as devastating wildfires in the U.S., took their toll on Bermuda-based Markel Catco. And in its earnings report, the fund manager said it paid out more than $400 million in claims tied to last year's catastrophic events. Those events also led to a surge in side pocket investments. That's when a company separates out its illiquid assets. This is done to protect the better performing assets. Because of this, Catco Reinsurance Opportunities Fund saw the net asset value of its ordinary shares tumble nearly 28%. But there is a silver lining. Premium rates are on the rise. Markel Catco was able to secure significant rate increases for its affected portfolio when those plans came up for renewal. This should give investors a greater return in 2018. Staying with earnings now, ATN International dialing up some big revenue gains in its Bermuda operations. ATN is the U.S.-based telco, which has a controlling stake in One Communications. Full-year revenue came in at over $127,000. That's up from $83,000 in 2016. Bermuda was the bright spot. ATN's international unit, which covers Bermuda and the Caribbean, saw profits tumble 21% in the fourth quarter on the back of hurricane damage. Turning to tech now, Apple venturing further into the content space. It's buying digital magazine app Texture for an undisclosed amount of money. Texture is known as the Netflix for magazines because for $10 a month, users get access to more than 200 publications, including People, The New Yorker, and Vanity Fair. This deal comes just 3 months after Apple said it was buying Shazam, a music recognition app, for around $400 million. Apple is hoping that by 2021, it will rake in more than $50 billion a year in services revenue. And a victory for Yahoo users. A U.S. judge has ruled that anyone affected by the massive Yahoo data breach can sue Verizon Communications. Verizon bought Yahoo's internet division last June and had put in a bid to have the claims dismissed. All 3 billion accounts on Yahoo's server were hacked in a series of data breaches starting in 2013. The company is accused of being too slow to disclose the information, increasing users' risk of identity theft. The judge said there was evidence that Yahoo users would have acted differently if they had known about the attack. Tony Waterman for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
The whole concept came from the collaboration with BF&M and the America's Cup. The Endeavour program is the legacy of the 35th America's Cup that was here in Bermuda in June. And we've continued the charity now operating in Bermuda. And going forward, we thought, what a great opportunity for children on the autism spectrum. And hence we actually developed the No Limits program. They really do benefit from this kind of outdoor experience, this environment. You know, just yesterday going off the east end of Bermuda, I mean, they wouldn't have done that. Not many children in Bermuda have done that. And just them learning to take control of a large bit of transportation that they're doing at that age, and they may never get that opportunity.
That's where you see the biggest progress is whether they were looking at their hand steering, you know, now they're looking forward and actually looking where they're going because they've realized, oh, I know where my hand is. I can do this without looking at my hand.
We are so grateful for the Endeavour program and what it has done for the students on the autism spectrum.
Are you required to take one or more medications daily but have a hard time remembering when to take them? The Phoenix Tours can help with an MDS blister pack, a multi-dose packaging system that makes it easier to manage and take your medication. Each MDS blister pack contains medication for the week and is pre-packed, sealed, and labeled by a pharmacist. Prescriptions grouped by the day and the time of day you should take them. Take confidence in knowing you're using your medications as the doctor planned. Visit the Phoenix Tours to get your MDS blister pack today. The Phoenix Tours, for a better life.
Turning to sports, Bermuda's Carifta track and field team was announced today while Bermuda boxers get drawn in Mexico, and there was no change to the top of the football standings after this weekend's matches. Earl Basden has it all in tonight's Weekend Sports Report.
14 athletes today were named to represent Bermuda for the upcoming Carifta Games. Making today's announcement was Donna Reyna, the president of the Bermuda National Athletic Association.
The Bermuda National Athletics Association would like to introduce the 2018 Carifta Athletics team. We are very pleased with the team that has been selected and have no doubt they will represent us very well. We have a quality team with athletes who have committed themselves to this sport and have given their best to gain a place on the team. So I will now introduce to you Bermuda's 2018 Carifta team. Starting with the under 17 girls, we have Jessie Marshall, who will be competing in the 1500 meters. We have Taylor Hines, who will be competing in the 200 meters. We have Tilly Norman, who will be competing in the 1500 and the 3000 meters. We have Amelia Offman, who will be competing in the high jump. So that's our under 17 females team. In the under 20 girls, we have Sakari Famous, who will be competing in the high jump, and Sakari will be our team captain. We have Ashley Irby, who will be competing in the 1500 meters. And we have Isabel Dutronat, who will be competing in the 3000 meters. So that is our under 20 girls team. Moving on to the boys, we have the under 17 boys. Clavante Lodge will be competing in the 200 and 400 meters. We have Ryan Outerbridge, who will be competing in the 15 and 3000 meters. And we have Nairobi Mills, who will be competing in the 800 meters. So that's our under 17 boys. The under 20 boys, we have Elisha Darrell, who will be competing in the high jump, and he is our team captain. We have John Dow Cumberbatch, who will be competing in the 5,000 meters. We have Robert Edwards, who will be competing in the 5,000 meters. And we have Danilo Brangman, who will be competing in the 400 meters.
Bermuda boxers Andre Lamb and Tyler Christopher were both present during the live draw of the Central American and Caribbean Games boxing qualifiers in Mexico. Christopher was drawn against Luis Hernandez from Panama, while Lamb received a bye in the first round. Both the Premier and First Division League title races remained the same after a weekend that featured 45 goals in 10 combined games. The PHC Zebras continue to lead the Premier Division with Robin Hood leading the chasing pack, while BAA are the First Division leaders with Paget Lions and Southampton Rangers closely behind. In the Premier Division, it was the North Village Rams 0, Robin Hood 3, Boulevard Blazers 0, PHC Zebras 4, Crossroads 1, Flanagan's Onions 3, Young Man Social Club 3, Dandytown Hornets 7, Devonshire Cougars 3, Somerset Trojans 6. In First Division, it was Devonshire Colts 0, Paget Lions 2, St. David's 1, BAA 4, Southampton Rangers 3, St. George's Colts 0, Hamilton Parish 1, Island Rangers 2, Wolves 1, and Somerset Eagles 1. Bermuda competitors achieved strong performance results in round 2 of the 2018 FEI World Jumping Challenge at the National Equestrian Center on Vigia Street yesterday. Philip Correa, riding Emerson, had a double clear round that saw him finish first in the 1.3 to 1.40 meter Category A division. Dale Rochester, riding Carolina Girl, was second. They had 1 time fault in the first round and 8 faults in the second. In the 1.1 to 1.20 meter Category B division, Casey Truen and Dallas Vega had 2 clear rounds. Leading the way in round 2 of the 1.00 to 1.10 meter Category C division was Courtney Brumby, riding Worth the Wait. In second place was Kayla Bargett, riding Causing Chaos. Shaquille Dill represented St. Augustine University Track and Field at the NCAA Division II Indoor Track and Field Championships. Dill earned All-American honors during the championship as he was the defending national champion in the men's 800-meter final. He would finish 4th with a season best 149.64. Meanwhile, in the final track and field meet before the Bermuda National Athletic Association announces the 2018 Carifta Games team, athletes competed at the National Sports Center on Saturday. Ashley Irby ran to victory in the under-20 girls 1500-meter run, stopping the clock in a time of 4:56.41. Koa Goodchild ran to victory in the under-17 girls 800-meter run, crossing the line in a time of 2:34.04. The under-17 girls 400-meter dash was won by Kayla Raymond, who missed the standard time of 58.50 when she was clocked at 59.64. With the boys under-20 100-meter dash qualifying time set at 10:75, Stephen Dill clocked a winning time of 11.04. John Dow Cumberbatch won the under-20 boys 5,000-meter run, clocking 19:01.03. The 2018 Round the Ground races took place at the Botanical Gardens yesterday. Jake Brislane and Catherine Bean Rosario are the boys and girls 11 to 12 champions. Brislane clocked a time of 5:15.2, while Jason Simons was second in 5:20.7. Tajay Gura was third in a time of 5:22.3. Bean Rosario was the 8th runner to cross the line, stopping the clock in a time of 6:15.6. Sarah Lawrence was the second female finisher and 10th overall in a time of 6:25.6. One spot back was Zayla Bean, finishing as the 3rd female finisher with a time of 6:33.3. Kaijan Simons and Aaron Cannonier competed in the 2018 Ricky Carmichael Amateur Supercross event in Daytona, Florida yesterday. Simons finished 7th in Heat 1 during the 450C class. Simons would also finish 7th during Heat 1 of the 250C Junior 12 to 17-year-old class. He would close out with a 3rd place finish in Heat 1 of the 250C class. Cannonier won Heat 1 of the veteran B/C 30-plus age group class, and he would finish the junior 25-plus class in 12th place in Heat 1. Turning to field hockey, the Ravens defeated the Pink Robins 4-2. The Ravens went ahead in the 15th minute when Anna Aban scored from a field goal. Jessica Hollis would double the lead with a field goal in the 22nd minute before Molly O'Dunn made it 3-0 with a field goal in the 28th minute. The Pink Robins would stage a comeback. Firstly, Jennifer Chisnow scored from a field goal in the 50th minute, and then 5 minutes later, Elizabeth Stewart pulled the Pink Robins within 1. But Hollis would score from a penalty corner in the 68th minute to make the final score 4-2. In other action, it was the Canaries 0, Mixed B Team 12, Sandpipers 2, Canaries 7. Bermuda Netball Association's league season resumed at the Bernard Park. In under-12 division action, the Storm defeated the Norfolk Lady Rams White 18-2. The Norfolk Lady Rams Red defeated the Warriors 23-7. And in under-16 division play, the Norfolk Lady Rams defeated Phoenix Fire 19-15, and the Storm defeated the Warriors 34-0. In senior league play, the Storm defeated the Norfolk Lady Rams White team 50-32. The Lindors Tigers defeated the Blazing Phoenix 38-17, and the Phoenix Heat defeated Robin Hood 69-17. I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
And that's our newscast for tonight. I'm Diane Brewer. Thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful evening, but please stay safe on the roads and drive slower. Good night.